The big island of Hawaii concedes to no one. It makes its own rules. Wind, heat, searing sun. You cannot fight the elements and conditions here. You must work with them. One athlete that exemplifies that adage is 33-year-old Lisa Hallett, co-founder and president of Wear Blue Run to Remember, an organization that honors the service and sacrifice of the American military and their families through running. Her late husband, Army Captain John L. Hallett, served our country and died for it. The day he deployed, he left a pregnant Lisa behind, along with 2 little boys. And for Lisa now, it's not forgetting that heals. It's remembering John.
I saw John cry once in our entire marriage, and it was the night before he left, and he had to say goodbye to his 2 boys and a baby who's not even born.
Good day, hugging a kiss.
And I think it was just so much for him to take in. John's unit headed out to Afghanistan in the summer of 2009. I knew that in those first few days, I wouldn't hear from John. But then 3 weeks after John left, we did get a hold of John because we were having a baby. I'm feeding her and talking to John on the phone, and I am so excited to finally get to be talking to John. And he says, I haven't heard Heidi cry yet. I was like, oh, don't worry about that. We have a lifetime for that. I mean, those words that came out of my mouth, that lifetime didn't happen for us. That was the last time I talked to John. It's one thing, to have your own grief, but to have to share news that will be a source of grief for your children forever it's too much. And I think that was the most terrible moment. To try to find the words to something you don't want to admit, to explain to your children. And I said, Daddy's body was hurt, and he doesn't get to come home, but he loves us, and he's in heaven. We went from having people bring us newborn baby meals into your husband died meals, but everybody's taking care of the logistics. But the world was so chaotic that I was just hungry for space to grieve and to find solid footing. And so in those first couple days after John was killed, I remember going out for my first run. I just had a baby. It was the ugliest run you've ever seen. And it was in those first few steps that I was finally able to find the quiet and the space that I needed to connect with my grief. In those first few months, every time I went out on the run, I think I was trying to run from this heartbreak and tragedy that life had given me. But I realized that in this journey that I wasn't actually running away from it, but I was running through it. And it was powerful because there were these amazing women in this community around me that recognized the power of running, the healing that it gave and the strength that it infused, and stood with me and ran with me, and we found strength and community together. I think that one of the most frightening parts of losing a loved one is that they will truly become in the past tense, that they will be forgotten. And each week in the circle of remembrance at a Wear Blue Run, or every time somebody puts on their blue shirt and makes their steps purposeful, they are making the statement both, I remember, and they're also evoking the memories of those men and women who lived and letting those stories continue to breathe life into our own steps. And so that they're not past tense, they are not a chapter closed. They are a part of the power that makes today's steps more purposeful. There will still be these moments where I'll catch my breath and I will remember, oh, John, we used to do that, or you love this. You don't stop missing your best friend. I can't change that, so I can accept, remember, and move forward. I know that when I finish, that joy and that pride will be so fierce when I scoop up Jackson, Bryce, and Heidi, and they give me big hugs that are just full of love and her family.
Lisa Hallett, DuPont, Washington, 33 years old. You are an Ironman! Lisa Hallett and her family, in honor of her husband, who she lost in Afghanistan in 2009. And Lisa deserves it one more time. Lisa Hallett, you are an Ironman!